Welcome to our podcast, Change from the Inside Out, where we discuss personal, academic, career, entrepreneur, and business growth with guests who are an expert in their field. In today's episode, we focus on career and professional growth, and we look at what it means to present a professional image. When we work on our career paths and plan on how we'll get to the next level, we often focus on the knowledge and skills that we need to accumulate. While these are very important areas for career growth, another part of it is the professional image that we present as we pursue this growth. It's long been said that first impressions last, and this expression is especially true when it comes to pursuing opportunities in the professional business environment. On that note, we're honored to have Sethu Mehana join us as our guest to discuss this topic. Sethu is the founder and Chief Fabulosity Officer of a proudly South African cosmetic brand, Nubian Cosmestics, where she specializes in teaching Generation X's the basics of makeup. She is a qualified makeup artist who discovered her passion for cosmetics back in 2012 while she worked in the corporate world as a marketer. She uses both her personal brand and her business brand to empower, celebrate, and inspire women to show up as their most authentic selves with a touch of glam, of course. She originally hails from East London, South Africa, and is currently based in Johannesburg. Other interesting facts about Sethu is that she's a stylish mom to her gorgeous young son, Sals. She loves exploring the outdoors, and she lives life to the fullest. In fact, her motto is, dream as if you'll live forever, live as if you'll die tomorrow. We're excited to have her here to share her wisdom on what it means to have a professional image and to get her advice on what we can do to give our own image a boost. Welcome to the show, Sethu.
Thank you, Diane.
So Sethu, you've been on your own journey as a businesswoman and someone that has both a personal brand and her business brand. Do you mind telling us a bit about your journey to becoming the founder and Chief Fabulosity Officer of Nubian Cosmetics?
So this started when I needed an extra income. There was the thing to say you can't just rely on one income. You need to turn your hobby, into something that can generate money. There's also the saying, do what you love and you won't work a day in your life. So I had to find what that thing that I love is. And it was actually between fitness and beauty. Those that know me, I'm quite a sporty person. I love the outdoors, like you mentioned before. And I was a fitness junkie. And then the second part was beauty. Those that know me from a young age, I was entering pageants. I was a pageant girl. And so beauty was almost built in me. Those that don't know, in East London, there was something called a modeling school. I think what they call it in other places, it's a grooming school. I was quite a tomboy when I was young, and my mom was like, no, let's go there. You're nice and tall. Go make some money. So everybody would know now that the beauty career or hobby won. I then needed to go to school to educate myself and also to gain knowledge so that I can be an expert in that field. So I went to a makeup school, studied for a full year. Every single Saturday for that year, I was at school from 8 until 1 o'clock. So that's when the makeup artist journey started doing people on weekends. What happened was people then said or asked, what is the best foundation to use? What am I using on them? And then I also then started giving advice. But what happened was I couldn't find my own foundation or a match for myself. When I went to cosmetic counters anyway, they matched me, got the perfect foundations, looked beautiful. And then when I asked the lady at the end, what is this? What must I buy? She showed me 3 products. And that's what she used to get to my skin tone. And that was over $1,000. And remember, I was young in my early 20s. I couldn't afford that. It was just too much. And I thought there's always a better way. That's when my journey started in trying to find out or doing some research into getting the perfect foundation. 1, for brown skin, 2, for South African brown skin, and 3, also at a reasonable price. So then the research started with Nubian. I found a few brands. I started selling. I would say that's how and when Nubian was formed.
You're certainly one of the most stylish people that I know. So what does it mean to you personally to present a professional image, Sethu?
It means getting the job if it's an interview or your career, or even for myself, if I want to be booked. It's winning. If you're doing a pageant or you are doing an audition, So you need to make sure that when you do get that interview, there's not a doubt in their mind that you are the candidate that they want. They've seen your CV, they screened hundreds of CVs. Your CV was chosen to come for that interview. And now you're sitting in front of the panel, and you need to make sure the way you look, what you say, everything needs to be ticked in order for you to get that job. Last year, I was one of the panelists, where we had to interview a candidate. There's a glass window and you can see outside, but they can't see inside. And this office was by a reception. So all the candidates were coming in. And there was a guy sitting there in the gray suit on his phone, all prim and proper, everything on point. Then there was another lady. And if you can listen to what I'm saying, I said another lady because there was nothing good or bad. It was just neutral. And that is also something. It's a statement that means something. So meaning she's not standing out, that means when she's sitting in front of you, so what is coming out of her mouth is what's going to make it for her. And then a third candidate came late, rushing in. She wasn't sure where she was going. And unfortunately, we saw that. And like you were saying, first impressions last. So we gotten an idea, of the three candidates. And she would have needed to do or say something really, really great for her to get the job. Because when they're coming in, they're almost on the same level. That's how important the image is.
Well, it's so great that you've brought in the fact that you've done interviews with other candidates, Sethu. And in your own business, you've obviously worked with many clients to give them a professional image using both your makeup line and your expertise. What's been the impact for your clients once you've boosted their image?
It's definitely increased self-confidence because, lockdown came and there were no events, no bookings, nothing. So I partnered up with a friend to do photo shoots. People now needed to take pictures for LinkedIn. People getting retrenched and needed to update their LinkedIn profiles. And the profiles, most of the time, it was when they just graduated. They were more than 10 to 15 years ago. So they needed to update those. So I don't let the candidate look at themselves until I'm finished. I'll give them the mirror because I want to record their reaction. And it's unbelievable. Some of them would ask, is this me? Do I really look like this? And then 2 days later, they would get the images and they still don't believe it. I'll get messages to say to thank you so much. And they would post some of them on the other socials, not just LinkedIn. And they will tell you, you don't know how much this means to me. And I didn't think much of it then, but the messages that they send, one of them actually, I just remember, I think yesterday said, this was the happiest day of my life. That's how important, how big that day was for that lady. The style of makeup I do is very minimal. It's very natural and it's authentic. I mean, you don't want a LinkedIn picture with red lipstick and blue eyeshadow. It's just going to be so distracting. So it's also an inside beauty. So you need to be proud of yourself and you need to be proud of who you are and you need to know who you are. And the rest will just fall into place because, your makeup will be on point.
That is such a powerful testimony, Sethu, and it's amazing the kind of impact that you've had on people's lives. So you mentioned earlier also, Sethu, that you worked predominantly in corporate environment before you made the change to Nubian Cosmetics. So before you started your company, what did you find is the general expectation of a professional image across businesses?
I'm going to answer that just using examples. I'm a marketer. I work in the financial services, but because I think marketing, we get to be known as the cool kids, in the building or in the company, because we'll be doing events, we'll be running around, we'll be hosting. So you can't really be wearing a pencil skirt and a heel. So then half of the time we are wearing jeans, a tracksuit top, very casual. And you'll find there will be days or moments where you are in a boardroom with the CMO, CFO, or GM of your business or another business, and you need to be serious or sound serious. So I also struggled, bridging the gap between those two. Ultimately, what's important is your work. That is what is gonna make it for you, so it's not your dress code at all. But with that said, you need to just keep it clean, keep it neat, and be representable. Even if you are wearing those jeans and that tracksuit top, you need to be presentable and just keep it neat and basic. I mean, you don't need a designer label suit or dress to work every day or to get that job. And like I said before, it's your work that needs to speak for you. And that's what you ultimately get judged on.
And it's so great that you gave that context there, Sethu, because there may be someone out there, one of our listeners, thinking, okay, well, I actually want to boost my professional image. So if that person's hoping to take their professional image and in turn their career to the next level, what sort of additional advice do you have for them?
Basically, the first step would be get a career coach or get a mentor, get someone who's going to give you career advice, get someone that you look up to. I've got a mentor and I've got a coach and a personal friend who was actually my boss. We chat about my career, her career, and just what's happening in our industry as marketers. And then what I also did, I got a professional CV writer, someone who can actually check your CV, update your CV, use the right words. When you upload your CV on LinkedIn, there are trigger words. So when a recruiter is looking, they're looking for specific things. So for your CV to pop up, it needs to be written in a certain way. It needs to say certain things. And that's how then your CV will pop up and you'll get that inbox to say, "Hi, Sethu, I am so-and-so from this recruitment company. I found your CV on LinkedIn." That honestly did happen. I saw the difference between my normal CV and getting a professional CV written. And I'll say those images, that picture that you also upload on LinkedIn, it needs to be professional as possible, but also it needs to be real, it needs to be authentic. I don't wear suits. I don't even think I wear those white buttoned up shirts that are professional and you see on LinkedIn, because that's not me. So you need to keep it real. It needs to match your personality. So get a professional image and then level up. Yeah, that's how you would go on your next level. I think all of this goes with a plan. So you need to know where you are, where you're going, and the tools and means to get you there. If you don't know, ask, find out. Google is your friend. And there's so many career coaches, there's, locally and internationally. And just get some help to do that. That would be my advice.
You've given us with so much good information already and so much good advice, Sethu. As we reach the end of our time together during our interview, are there any final words in terms of professional presentation or professional image that you would like to leave with the listeners?
Yeah, I think just be yourself and be authentic. Keep it real, keep it honest, and you'll go far. You don't want to be someone you're not. There's only one of you. And if that job is meant for you, it will be yours. And if it wasn't meant for you, you will not get it. And that's okay. It's allowed. And you just need to move on and you'll get it. Don't pretend to be someone you're not because you're thinking that a certain job, needs someone who is, I don't know, an A type or wearing a gray suit, a pencil skirt. I mean, can't imagine myself pitching to an interview wearing a black and white suit or those nice fancy gray suits, because that's not who I am. That's not me. And I think what candidates also don't know, I remember one of the candidates, their psychometric test didn't meet the personality and the CV. And we were left very confused that we liked the person that came in front of us, very bubbly, outgoing, lovely person. The person who did this test, this CV, they didn't align with the person that we saw. So being true to yourself, being authentic, it comes out. It will come out somehow. And just be honest. I think that's just who I am. What you see is what you get. If you don't like it, it's okay.
That is such great advice, Sethu, and such a wonderful way to end off our interview. And, given the advice that you've given us and the knowledge and insights that you've shared, I have no doubt that there will be listeners that will want to get in touch with you about Nubian Cosmetics, or they may want a consultation with you regarding their professional image. So where are the different channels where they can reach you, Sethu?
Instagram, Sethu_Mehana. You can also find Nubian Cosmetics. That handle is Nubian Cosmetics _ZA. You can also drop me an email, info@nubiancosmetics.co.za. And you can check out our website if maybe someone just wants to buy some cosmetics, nubiancosmetics.co.za.
Sethu, thank you so much for being our guest today and for sharing so many great insights with us. I've really enjoyed my time with you and I've learned so much from you during our time together. And I'm very sure that our listeners have too. It's so important to have a professional image, and you've shared valuable information with us on exactly how we can do this. I look forward to having you with us again in future to catch up on your entrepreneurial journey and to continue to see the impact that you've made in others' lives.
Thank you so much, Star, and it was really lovely being here. It was quite interesting and I've really enjoyed it.
We hope that you enjoyed today's podcast episode. Be sure to come back regularly for more great content that focuses on personal, career, entrepreneur, and business growth. Find out more about our coaching services and get in touch with our team by following the link in our post or visit dingscoconsulting.co.za.